thank you again for this day, and Father, we thank you for your love, and we thank you for your Son Jesus, who died on the cross for each and every one of us. Father, we just ask that we conduct the county business in a Christ-like manner, that, Father, that you would lead, guide, and direct us in our decisions and our votes as well. Father, also pray for our first responders across this state and across our counties, local first responders as well. Father, also say a special blessing on Christy Cruz that fell out in the hallway. Father, just be with her as well. And Father, we just ask for guidance and leadership, and Father, that you will just watch over each and every one of us. And Father, as we leave this building this day, just watch over us and lead, guide, and direct us. And we ask all of this in the precious saving name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have one bid. This is the old fuel tank that was at the Leah Jones Park. It initially was at the county garage, and then it was transferred to the park. The fuel tank, we have a bid for $50 from Jason Thompson. This fuel tank cannot be used. Bill Compton is inspected out there, and so because it does not meet the requirements and the regulations, it can no longer be used. So that is the only bid that we have. It's an old 500-gallon tank. It was the tank used for the sheriff's office at the county garage before it ever.
I'll make a motion to accept the bid.
Alright, we have a motion by Master Cummins and a second by Master Sutton. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Do we have any visitor comments? Benji, Allen? I'll let y'all come on down. So this is Alan Stewart. He is the Diamond Club president, and then I'm sure most of y'all know Benji Trice. Go ahead.
I was just coming to see if we could, get the fields, the drainage put in this year,
Okay, for the tiling.
tiling in the fields, did that guys seem?
I do, I have it, so I have one estimate. If you all remember last year, Leif came to the court asking, Leif Riggs came on behalf of the Diamond Club asking for funds. We turned that over to Lake Barkley Tourism. The tourism did approve it, but it did not get done, because they played ball and then went into, the gentleman that was gonna do it into their farming season or harvest season, so he was not able to do it. We did get an updated quote that I will turn back over, to tourism, and I have already sent that to them for $12,968.41. This is about $3,000 to $4,000 more than what it was last year. I think it was right around $9,000 last year. But I'm not sure, are you still gonna have to have dirt? Is that what you're asking the county for, is the dirt?
The Diamond Club, I talked with them, I'm gonna buy a load of,
The red clay?
red clay out of Alabama. And I was gonna see if the county would buy a load, it's 20. I just texted him to make sure it was still a done deal on the bid, that he can go and do it. To get it up here from Alabama, total was $29.30, and that's coming from Alabama. The Diamond Club, I talked with them, we're gonna buy one load, way the guys explained to me down there in Alabama, you put it on there in each stick, it hardens up. They played on it, I played on it some in Caldwell, and I talked to Hope up there in Caldwell. She has had a lot less rainouts, at the first of the season. She didn't know much about it, vouch for that stuff. And I talked to Scott, I think it's gonna take some work off Scott. That stuff, you don't really put the nail drag through, you kind of put a broom on it, so. And did you get the estimate from Brandon Sane?
Yes, that was the
I thought I
blue.
sent it to you.
Yes.
His was a lot cheaper. It was like $8,600.
He's the one that did all those counties do too.
Okay, that gentleman did.
He's the,
I have that one, I know I do, you sent it to me, Alan.
You say what kind of need? How much?
his was like $8,600.
Is that the one you really like?
Yes. Well, Brandon, he's putting on 2-foot centers. This guy that's $12,000 is putting tile every 20 foot. I don't think, every 20 foot, I don't think it's gonna do us any good.
$8,600?
And averages, I've been talking with Logan, and, the Diamond Club is gonna be fighting for averages. I think if he don't donate it, it's gonna be pretty cheap. He's talked like they would donate the pipe, so it's gonna be 2,000 foot pipe, and then averages is gonna probably donate to us.
Well, I know both of the estimates will go, and we have the new tourism director here, sorry, Jody. They'll both go to tourism, for tourism to make that decision.
Okay.
The Diamond Club is gonna do one load.
Yeah.
You're asking the court to do the other load. Now, does that include potentially shipping of 2 loads or just 1 load? Do we know if that 2,900 will go up?
It'll be 2,900 a load.
2,900 a load?
And it's gonna be separate trucks. Be 2 separate trucks in there. Cause I called around trying to find somebody to truck it for me, and it was gonna be way higher to send an empty truck from Eddie all the way to Alabama. It was, looking at it, it was gonna cost like $3,000 just to get a truck to go from Eddyville down there, so it's cheaper just to get them hauled up there, so.
I do know that the county has the 3, and there's also another option for the 3, so I don't see an issue with matching what the Diamond Club's gonna do have to get it done, and then tourism to actually tile the fields.
And
What
Brandon,
list of plans to do?
September, they're not gonna do fall this year in order to get it done.
Brandon said that whenever the last thing that's scheduled,
August 2nd.
If Brandon wins the bid, he said he could come in right after the last whatever schedule, and he said he'd start on it, he'll have it come in for you.
Which one is he?
Brandon Stallion, he's from Princeton. He's the assistant fire chief up there or something.
Staggered.
He done all Princeton, so that's why I was telling you earlier, if you were about to look at it. And while I'm here, I talked to Benji and I talked to Scott. Did y'all have any problem with me moving the T-bone up in the field on top, across from the 2 buildings?
I'd say we'll probably have to look at that before we make a decision on that one. There was some property right across from the little building, I think it was mowed at one time with the intention of putting a practice field there. Motion carries. Road department update.
Well, right now, we got two more out in the first district, with Mark, we've had Clark a little, trying to get him to help us at the park, the playground, we've been rained out this week, so I got him back on. So we're going to do another 10-foot cut around the county bridge, starting the first. And, so talk to y'all, I had a tractor incident yesterday at the shop, I fell off the jack and busted the front end, so I'm waiting to see exactly what it's going on until it fix it. We've been doing some ditching, weather's not cooperating with that either. We keep getting further behind, I know there's something, we looked at the job last year on lab, and it's just so wet I can't even get dirt to it, so. But I haven't forgot. We helped the water department get their excavator out this morning, it was stuck down by a creek on Gray Farm, they was trying to get a new water line, and busted during the flood, so we helped them with that. We got new tires on the dump truck and the trailer. We've been using it some, so it's working out. And then, like I said, start on the playground again, hopefully Monday, weather permitting. So I'll have to pull Mark back off that job. Or for that job, off the middle. That's where we're standing right now.
So Abby's calling on the tractor, about insurance on that. There's a potential that that is gonna cost about anywhere from 8 to 15,000 to fix that front end housing. So we're checking on that as well.
Is that the one that's got the most hours on it?
It's
It's 78, 7900, it's 14 model.
So it's, do we wanna look at that, or do we wanna look at potentially a new one? I mean, versus putting 15,000 into an 11-year-old tractor.
The only thing is, if you do that, you're gonna have to stay with the same company. Unless you change bush hogs, right?
Well, I mean, no, the bush over around anything.
It will.
Yeah. We just got everything for the 3 tractors, you know, builders, goals, everything like that, but we can change whatever.
Any other questions for Jason?
Jason, I've had a lot of complaints about, on the state, which I know they don't have effect, but I didn't know if you could call Kevin and ask them to bush hog on the other side of the guardrails, because I know it's tough pulling out at Lamasco and 1272 and 903.
We contacted Oaks last week about, friend, or main road over the guardrails, there's trees hanging over, because anything over 24, that's the state, and, we're gonna see about spraying that, so I can see about getting a spray, or, but I don't think I'll do more of that.
I think along 730 there at Coleman Bridge,
Mhm.
I think they're hanging over the guardrail, or not say about, I've just had a few people call and complain,
Right.
which I'm one of them, because I can't see out pulling out.
First, coming off us, it is bad there. And then, the bridge on Friendship, they've got them buttons forward, so I haven't got to talk with anybody, I haven't talked to anyone there, but they're making progress with it, so.
I'll tell you, the state initially had a contract for mowing, and that contractor, did not fulfill their contract, so now the state is having to mow. And so, not only that, they're short-staffed, they've got 3 that are fixing to retire, 1 that's leaving in 2 weeks. So the state highway is gonna be,
They started spraying in some areas too, and we got all this rain, I don't think it did anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
so,
It reminded me of the rip route that I need down this morning for the people. If you talk to them,
Oh, okay.
it's been about 3 months.
We know what I said.
Jason knows about Oaks.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll send him a message as well. Anything else on the roads?
Friendship, when is the completion date on that? Those
Well,
people-
they just poured the abutments,
Yeah.
and I
And
don't
last
think
I had
the
heard, the
beams have been
beams-
made.
Yeah, they haven't even been made, and once they're made, they've got to cure for 28 days before they can be hauled. So, I don't.
I mean, they estimated 6 months to a year for that bridge to be out, and they got started on it very, very quick,
Quick.
so. I'm hoping it's complete before the end of the year.
I was hoping that, like I said, I don't know when they're gonna get the beams built, so they didn't either last time I talked with anyone.
Because some of that bridge will be done.
All right, so
Good question.
Friendship is being worked on, and, last meeting, we were awarded, funds to replace Ferguson Road Bridge, $530,747,000. So you should have a copy of that contract and resolution. So it will be a motion to authorize the judge executive to sign the contract and then to approve the resolution as printed.
So moved.
Motion by Magistrate Cummings, we have a second. Second by Magistrate Fowler.
This will be the first and only reading of Lyon County, Kentucky Resolution 2025-07. I will be reading this resolution in a summary form only. A complete copy of this resolution is available in the office of the Lyon County Judge Executive during normal business hours. Lyon County, Kentucky Resolution 2025-07 is a resolution adopting and approving the execution of a memorandum of agreement between the Lyon County Fiscal Court and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Department of Highways, for the amount of $530,747 for the Ferguson Road Bridge Replacement Project. Be it resolved by the Lyon County Fiscal Court as follows. The Fiscal Court is hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in said agreement, and does hereby accept the funds provided in said agreement, and by such acceptance agrees to all the terms and conditions therein stated. The Judge Executive of Lyon County is hereby authorized and directed to sign said agreement as set forth on behalf of the Fiscal Court of Lyon County, and the Fiscal Court Clerk of Lyon County is hereby authorized and directed to certify thereto. This has been the first and only reading of Lyon County, Kentucky Resolution 2025-07.
Any other questions or discussion? Just as a FYI, I will contact the state and potentially do the same thing with this bridge that we did with Friendship, which means we will transfer that to the state. The state will do everything. They will not, go over the allotted amount, but I have to ask them if they're willing to do that again. So potentially at another meeting, you'll see a contract transferring it to the state. All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, no? Motion carries. All right, so we have some fire district, board members that are due, for election and appointment. So Fire District 1, they did re-elect, Jonas Yoder, and then, Kevin Brotherton chose not to continue to serve. He was up for election. So because it occurred, he notified me after the election, I make a motion to appoint Chris Anderson to the Lyon County Fire District 1 Board. His term will end June of 2026 when they can have another election.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second by Magistrate Cummings. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Similar to Fire District Board 2, they also were to have an election. That election did not occur. And they only had one board member that was up for election. And since the election did not occur, I make a motion to appoint Sid Sanderson to the Lyon County Fire District 2 Board with a term ending June of 2027. And we will still need to find one more board member for that board, because Randy Dykus chose not to serve. His term was up as well and chose not to serve. Second, we have a motion and a second by Magistrate Fowler. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. I'm gonna go ahead and appoint Sid so that he can go on about his business and doesn't have to stay for the whole.
Congratulations.
Just raise your right. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky, so long as I continue a citizen thereof, and that I will faithfully execute to the best of my ability the office aforesaid according to law. And I do further solemnly swear that since the adoption of this present Constitution, I, being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within the state, nor out of it, nor have I sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons nor have I acted as second in hearing a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help me God. You're good to go, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sid.
Thank you for serving.
You're welcome.
Alright, we are gonna skip down to, 14, we will come back to 13. So you should have a copy of the street legal special purpose vehicle ordinance. So this ordinance is in regards to the state passing a law this previous spring that will allow side-by-sides to be operated upon Kentucky roadways, not interstates or limited access highways, and not in any portion or highway within the United States Department of Agriculture. So you have a copy of our ordinance. The ordinance defines special purpose vehicle, what they're required to have. If you look at page 2, section 2, designated highways, these will be allowed on highways of speed limits where it is 55 or less. It gives you the 3 exemptions in section 3, which is they have to be permitted on Vine County roadways, unless allowed by this ordinance. Cannot be on the interstate or parkway, and of course in LBL, which is a USDA location. Section 4 speaks to the registration, insurance, and the reciprocal aspect. So they have to be registered, they have to be insured, and then they have to comply with all other requirements in KRS Chapter 186. We will recognize and grant. What is that word, Lee? There you go. I can never say that word. I always say reciprocal. For registration of the street legal special purpose vehicles that are properly licensed in other states, so long as the street legal special purpose vehicle meets the equipment requirements set forth in section 1(3) above. Section 5 gives the prohibitions, which is listed in the KRS, and then section 6 is severability. So the only things that we added, you can add, you cannot make less when changing what is provided by law. On letter J on page 2, which is under section 1, a working muffler that meets the requirements, and we added the KRS 189 and 140. Letter K, we added a steering wheel that prevents, if you have a four-wheeler, you have to actually have a steering wheel, not handlebars. We added the insurance, and I believe that was the only other thing. Is that correct? This does not include golf carts, and they cannot be operated in LBL. LBL is its own jurisdiction, it's a federal reservation. They make their own rules and laws there, and this does not affect them whatsoever. We've already sold 2 license plates.
We've inspected 3.
So,
Have all 3 passed?
Well, they did by the time they were done. There
I
was
think
all-
2 did
I think
immediately.
two did initially and one did not.
Yes, sir.
Are you required to legalize them for the county, since the state legalized them, or can the county vote them down?
So the state gave the option for counties and cities to opt in or opt out. So in order to do it, you have to pass the ordinance. At the same token, we have the Catawba City Council member here, we cannot trump your ordinance, and you have to pass your own ordinance within the city of Catawba. So just, if the county does it, that doesn't somebody the right to operate them on city streets within the city limits of Eddyville or Catawba. So they will have to pass their own ordinance as well if they choose to allow it.
Which was similar to the golf cart ordinance.
Yeah.
Going back to section 5, says that they can't go no further than 20 miles. Is that from where they live?
So it's not, we were on a Zoom training yesterday, please correct me if I'm wrong. They never said it was from where they lived, because you can trail them, and that was the whole thing about it being registered. So even if the county doesn't pass an ordinance, and you wanna go somewhere else, it's gonna be inspected by our sheriff and licensed by our clerk. You can drive it, you can trailer it to Lake Cumberland. So you're obviously not within 20 miles of where you live. And then they also said, if you drive 20 miles and then you stop somewhere and do something, that 20 miles starts again.
Really hard to enforce.
It's gonna be extremely, that part's gonna be extremely hard to enforce.
I'm gonna say,
Yes.
you can drive 100 miles a day.
That's right.
Mhm. Yeah. That part will be extremely hard to enforce.
I was just gonna get ready to ask Brent, because about 20 miles away from him, what's he gonna do?
Might ask them a question, where'd you start at? That's about the only thing. And they have the right to remain silent. They don't even have to answer that. They don't want that.
I agree, that's gonna be hard to enforce that one.
I don't know that it's necessarily gonna be an issue of the 20 miles.
I don't think it'd be an issue in Lyon County on 20 miles.
Yeah. I think if the sheriff, and he can tell me no, but if I were in those shoes again, it's gonna be stopping them to make sure they're in compliance with everything that they gotta have to be able to legally operate it on a roadway.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
more of a concern to me than where they came from 20 miles.
the reciprocal ones are probably gonna be the ones that get stopped the most, and I'll explain why. So and I really appreciate the county attorney and the clerk and the judge meeting with all of us to, kind of go over some of this. Some states, like Kentucky, you have to have the license plate on the back of it, but some of them have a sticker that goes on the side, like a boat registration would be, so to speak. And so, if our deputies get behind them and they don't have a plate, they're gonna almost always have to perform a traffic stop on them to see that they're in compliance with law, or to see if they have that permit that may be on the side if they can't see it, to determine that they're operating legally. So, I'm not concerned about that, but each state is a little bit different, not every state is the same. But I do agree that we should be reciprocal with where we're at, as long as everybody meets.
So when they license these things, Lord, do they get a regular plate like the car?
They get a
Small.
motorcycle plate,
They get a,
special purpose,
special street legal SPV.
Yeah.
So, and they're green,
Mhm.
and they're numbered and everything.
yeah.
But it's the size of
The size
a
of the
motorcycle.
motorcycle.
It's a little bit maybe bigger,
It's a
about the
little
size.
bigger, it's about like so,
Yeah.
but it's green, and so it's pretty visible.
So, on top of, yeah, I might have, Judge Spraggs drove his to work, yes, he did, in Marshall County. They've already passed it, Livingston's already passed it. But another thing you have to also understand is the ad valorem tax is there, that will take effect in January. So you will get property tax and other for that. They did not remove it and they're keeping it.
They are keeping it.
They're keeping it.
That's gonna be a big shock to people when they.
Unless the legislatures that wrote the bill, because they didn't have any intentions of it being taxed for personal property tax. But, so they may come back next session and change it, but hopefully they don't, because otherwise there's no money to go as far as the county.
Yeah. That wasn't the intent, but it's in there and that will go in effect.
There's 15 equipment requirements, and in the county, if you all pass this ordinance, there's an additional, at least one additional, equipment requirement. So it's, I think it's pretty well delineated.
That's what the plates look like.
They, at our training last month, they stressed, the writers of the bill stressed that the reason they did it was for the tourism income, the economic boom for the eastern part.
Yes. Yes, it goes on the back just like a vehicle, and it has to have an illuminated light over it as well.
You want me to go get one?
Okay, I just showed him one. So that's what it looks like on the back.
If you don't care, get one and set it on my desk, I'll take it there, look at it.
Any other questions regarding?
Is this something the cities are looking at passing to?
So I've met with Mayor Greg Green, he's gonna take our ordinance as well. I offered the same to Mayor Campbell, I'll send it to her as well. I can't speak for them, she has not told me, but I believe Mayor Green is, for it as well in regards to all three of us need to be on the same page, but,
And drive through the city?
yeah.
You know,
The only comment I have, coming from an area that had it before in Illinois, is that the towns that had police forces didn't have any problems, but the towns that didn't have the police forces had multiple problems because they kept getting, they start out okay, legal, but then after that, they, you know, the bigger tires, the bigger everything, and they were just running rampant through cornfields, everything. So, I mean, for an ordinance for side-by-sides for cities is great that have a police force. But for our communities that have the smaller towns, it's gonna be hard for policing it and hard on the residents.
Well, we've only had 3 inspected, and we've only given out 2 plates. I think some, you know, the insurance, you only actually have to have the liability, just similar to a motorcycle, is what the law requires. And then some of them from a farming aspect, if a farmer has one and they wanna convert it to street legal, they will lose the farm exemption, and they have to show that they paid the usage tax or the sales tax on it. So I don't think some may. We've met with the sheriff over it as well as the county clerk.
Everybody has to prove that they paid 6% usage on it.
And they have to sign the registration every year certifying that the vehicle has stayed the same, that nothing has changed on the inspection side. They did not say that they couldn't, but Mr. Ornstein did say that it may lose, if the sheriffs were to require an inspection every year.
Yeah,
So,
I would say this, I was concerned for cities like Catawba, and even Edward, especially cities like Catawba, about the noise. Some of these UTVs are very loud, and that was a concern of mine, especially for city of Catawba. I expressed that concern to the county attorney. That's why the added language was put in there about the muffler, so that we have the ability to enforce that. The definition that was in there initially just said a working muffler. Well, working muffler is not further defined under Kentucky law. So the county attorney was able to correlate that to a statute that is further defined and one in which we can actually enforce. So if we have that problem in Catawba, I do feel like that we have a mechanism to address it if they do an ordinance. But we'll definitely have the ability to address it in the county portion. But if the city does that, I would highly recommend that they keep that same kind of language in there.
Well, I can tell you that, you may have only given 2 out so far. There's a lot more that's going up and down our road, and they're just hightailing it. It's kind of dangerous.
Call us when you see them, we'll gladly deal with it. Our officers stopped 2 this past weekend, and I think 2 or 3 the weekend before.
Yeah, it's especially during the holidays and stuff.
Right.
You know, we've got tourists and that's just
I mean,
something we can deal with.
they operate just as the same as a motor vehicle. Some of them will go 68 mile an hour, 70 mile an hour.
Yes.
They are just like a vehicle, but at the same time, to me, they're safer personally than a motorcycle, a slingshot. They've got a roll cage, they've got the seat belts, and they're safer than a golf cart because at 35 on 295, or Lake Barkley Drive, and a car comes up behind you, a golf cart, you can't go anywhere. At least with this, you're going at the same speed as the traffic behind you. So,
My main concern is gonna be, teenage kids getting on them.
so you still have to have an operator's license, and when,
Yeah.
I mean,
Still
it's
have
the
an operator's
same those kids are, you've got to call us and tell us. You know, when I was in that position, the same as the sheriff, you've got to call and tell us when they're doing it, so that we can
That would be
potentially
my
stop them.
concern, because you see kids, I know I've been to Catawba and the when you see kids on the golf course, with adults sitting beside them.
And we stop them and tell them they can't do it.
They can't do that either, right?
Yeah, they gotta have a driver's license, and, you know, obviously now, a 15-year-old can have a
But
driver's
you know
license.
how,
Yep.
but you know how teenage kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but a 15-year-old can get their license
Yeah,
now.
Well, I mean, I understand that.
And I stopped a non-licensed one, 2 weekends ago, so, yeah.
Y'all take that, y'all need to do it there.
I was good,
I didn't do anything until Quinn Sutton was my ag teacher.
That was my boy, sir.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion to pass the street legal special purpose vehicle ordinance number 03/2025. All right, so we have a motion, just so that they hear it. I made a motion to pass the ordinance. Magistrate Fowler has made a second to pass ordinance number 03/2025, street legal special purpose vehicle.
This will be the first reading of Lyon County, Kentucky, ordinance number 03/2025, street legal special purpose vehicles. I will be reading this ordinance in a summary form only. A complete copy of this ordinance is available in the office of the Lyon County Judge Executive during normal business hours. Lyon County, Kentucky, ordinance number 03/2025 is an ordinance permitting and regulating the operation of special purpose vehicles on Lyon County roads and highways. Whereas the Lyon County Fiscal Court has determined that it is appropriate to allow the operation of street legal special purpose vehicles on specified highways within the jurisdictional boundaries of Lyon County in accordance with the act and this ordinance, now therefore be it ordained by the Lyon County Fiscal Court as follows. Section 1, definitions. I just want to draw your attention down to numerical paragraph 3 that delineates out the specific equipment requirements that these will have to carry. Section 2, designated highways. Lyon County permits the operation of street legal special purpose vehicles by licensed operators to operate on roads and highways that are located within the jurisdictional limits of Lyon County where the speed limit is 55 miles per hour or less. Section 3 says forth exceptions. Section 4 is titled registration, insurance, and reciprocity. A street legal special purpose vehicle operating on a public roadway under this ordinance shall be 1. Registered in accordance with KRS 186.020. B. Insured in compliance with KRS 304.39-080 in the same amounts as set forth in KRS 304.39-110 for motorcycles by the owner-operator, and proof of insurance shall be inside the street legal special purpose vehicle at all times of operation on a public roadway. And C. Comply with all other requirements in KRS Chapter 186. Lyon County recognizes and grants reciprocity for registration of street legal special purpose vehicles that are properly licensed in other states, so long as the street legal special purpose vehicle meets the equipment requirements set forth in Section 3 above. Section 5 details prohibitions. I want to draw your attention down to subparagraph D. LED light bars shall not be used while operating on a marked highway or roadway when meeting or approaching other motorists or pedestrians. Section 6 details severability and effective date. This has been the first reading of Lyon County, Kentucky ordinance number 03/2025.
Sheriff, did you get that? Chance? I sent you, did you get that?
No. I appreciate it. Not that.
All right, we'll get a roll call. Magistrate Cummings.
Yes.
Magistrate Sutton.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Magistrate Fowler.
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, you should have a copy of the transient room tax ordinance. And I'm gonna go ahead and introduce Jody Norwood. Jody is the Lake Bartley Tourism Commission Director. Jody worked at the paper, when I was at the PD for the Herald Ledger. Wasn't sure what you did after you left the paper, but it's good to have you, Jody. And I will get you a copy this ordinance is in regards to transient room tax and how tourism somewhat operates, is the 3% that they collect on that all goes to them. It never comes to the county, never passes through our books, it goes straight to them. And this is to hopefully help them get things better organized and who's paying, who's not paying, who needs to pay, etc. And then I'll let Lee, explain kind of why we changed the term.
Yeah, so,
You don't wanna-
you know, that whenever we looked at what we had, we've got two ordinances right now. We've got 460.0, which was the 1991 ordinance that established a 3% transient room tax. And then we've got a 460.1. 460.1 was more or less just a cleanup and clarification of 460. What 460.1 did is it changed it from a quarterly requirement to a monthly requirement. It changed the name from the Lyon County Tourism to the Lake Barkley Tourism Commission. What we're looking to do is we're looking to go in and incorporate the expanded definition under 91A390. 91A390 expanded the definition of who shall pay transient room taxes. It's important that that revenue is captured because it may already be collected. We needed to clarify that. But in discussing it with the judge executive, we both felt like it would be better to, rather than introduce this today for you all's consideration, because this is an amendment to the amendment of the original ordinance. I think for clarity's sake, it would be better to clean up the original ordinance and incorporate both amendments. Just in all, candor to you, if somebody comes in and asks, well, what do I need to pay for transient room tax? I don't wanna have to hand them a 1991 ordinance that put it into place, a 2005 ordinance that amended it, and then a 2025 ordinance that amended that. I don't want them to have to do legal research to figure out what they should have to pay. So we're trying to go in and we're trying to clean all of that up, but as we were discussing it, the judge observed, hey, we've got a new executive director. Let's wait until we have an opportunity to meet with you, Jody. We just want to go through everything because I want to get it right, but I want to get it in a way that you all want so that we don't pass an ordinance without bringing you guys into the fold and then you guys come back 2 months later and say, can we put this in there, can we change that? So that was our thinking. Congratulations on your new position. And we'll get together with you and set that up.
Sounds good, appreciate it.
Does anybody have any questions or, we do have some ordinances, that need to be cleaned up and brought up to date, and
Does it deal with VRBOs and everything?
it does, and that's the thing, and I think Jody will learn, and he may already know some of it. I don't know that the VRBOs actually, if they do pay, I don't know that they pay maybe what they're supposed to pay, or, I don't know how you control that,
So
and that's.
Catawba has recently done that in the recent past, and they've had some success, but it's definitely a moving target.
So, if I could say something.
Absolutely, come forward.
So, yeah, this is my third day on the job, but
Yes.
I'm getting accustomed to this because that is an issue. What our biggest issue is right now, it's on the honor system. So if you have a rental property that you're renting out rent, and you say that you didn't rent anything for the month of May, we don't have any way to dispute that. So that's something that we've got to look at and see how we can better keep track of that on our end. And we've got some ideas, and also how we can make it easier on people to file those things, because right now they're having to take a physical form, fill it out, and then either mail and bring it in. So we're looking at, and this may be something I reach out to you with, Lee, if that's an option, to see if maybe we can do that in a digital format so that they can just download that, maybe do it online. So I may have some questions for the court.
Absolutely.
And would love to sit down and talk about it at some point.
100%. I know they have to do that, and then a lot of times we would find things, and how we found some of the ones lately was, oh, so-and-so stayed at whatever, well, they said they don't have weekend rentals. And, we're finding it on Facebook and different things, Twitter, TikTok, whatever it is. And we've gotta find a better system, one, to help tourism, and, two, because if you you say they don't pay, we have no way to know what they were supposed to pay, so how can we send them a bill and say you didn't pay this when we really don't know what you were supposed to pay?
And it's just a fairness issue, you know, our traditional lodging types, you know, hotels and those things, they're paying the tax.
Yes.
Like VRBOs are making the same profit, sort of, and then some of them are, they will skirt that way, you know, so. Okay. Any questions for me?
Absolutely, thank you. Any other questions? All right, so you should have an order, that should actually be order number 02/2025. This is in regards to New Circle Road, changing of the right-of-way. You should have a letter, from the Planning Commission, attached to that as well, where they voted, to amend that from a 50-foot right-of-way to a 32-foot right-of-way. You should have a map also showing where it's 50 foot and where it's going out at 32 foot, on the lower left-hand side of that map. And upon getting this information and research, there is a KRS that actually says in order to do that, we have to pass an order, for that reduction in right-of-way. It's that nice little part where the Benberry Hotel at the time built on to the right-of-way. Yeah.
We want to thank Chris Smith for his legal research. I did not know you had to pass an order when you reduced a right of way, but appreciate his legal research.
Yeah. He brought that to my attention. So, I will entertain a motion to accept the New Circle Road change in right-of-way order number 02/2025 as printed. We have a motion by Master Fowler, second by Master Sutton.
This will be the first and only reading of Lyon County, Kentucky, order number 02/2025. I'll be reading this in a summary form, complete copies available in the office of the Lyon County Judge Executive during normal business hours. Lyon County, Kentucky, New Circle Road, change in right-of-way is order number 02/2025. Therefore, be it ordered by the Lyon County Fiscal Court as follows: the width of the right-of-way for New Circle Road shall be reduced from 50 feet to 32 feet in the areas depicted on the attached road diagram. This order shall take effect and be full force and effect when executed and recorded. This has been the first and only reading of Lyon County, Kentucky, order 02/2025.
Roll call, myself, yes. Master Cummins?
Yes.
Master Fowler?
Yes.
And Master Sutton? Motion passes. Yeah, oh, one was in. All right, Chad, you're up. So, court, if you all remember, you will have a copy of the Rivercrest, proposal and agreement. Back in February, we passed, and approved for Rivercrest Engineering on the strategic planning project. This was a DRA grant that we applied for. This is gonna tell us, hopefully, and Chad can correct me if I'm wrong, what our current capacity is of all of our water systems for water, drinking water. Is that right?
Yes.
And how much they can take on.
Not to the exact gallon, but yes.
Pretty close, yes. We were awarded that grant, it was $150,000, so now we're moving forward, with the proposal and signing the agreement with Rivercrest. It will be paid for, and then we will seek reimbursement, that money will come back to the county. Pat office is involved in this as well, they're doing all the paperwork and everything for us.
I'm happy to provide a summary, or if anybody's got any questions, if you've already looked at the proposal, I'm happy to answer any questions in that regard. As Rivercrest Engineering, we worked with the cities of Edible and Catawba on several occasions, and even Lyon County Water District in years past, on water system and sewer system improvements. So this isn't our first time working here in the area with the systems, so we feel like we really wanna get in here, provide you guys with this level of service, look at the capacities, look at potentials for how we can bring the systems together, and also look at, identifying any deficiencies that may help the community grow in general and as a whole. We're teamed with an engineering firm called McGee Engineering. They're out of Guthrie, Kentucky. Mike McGee is the owner of that company. He's done a lot of work with the regionalization of a lot of water systems in the Logan-Todd area of Kentucky. And so we're gonna bring his 30-plus years of experience on our team to help us with the regionalization components and some of the treatment components as well to this study. So that's the goal here, with the coming together of our two firms to provide this service to the county.
They are also doing our interconnect project, which is the 2024 DRA project, a $3 million project with Catawba, Evansville, and Lyon County Water District. This strategic planning project, in my opinion, is a major accomplishment for us, because we have a lot of development and different things going in, and Eric can't know, hey, I got industry wanting to come into Edible, but your water capacity may not be high enough, et cetera. This is going to tell us a lot about our county, where we're currently at, and where we need to be moving forward for both the county and both cities. So, and we've already been awarded, it's just now we're signing the contract. Does anybody have any questions for Chad? Lee has looked over this. We did ask yesterday, we're not gonna go over the 150,000, we will be able to see if we're looking to go that way, and then they can back down some of their things or stop or whatever.
We won't go over that contract. The proposal is written for the grant amount, and we will not exceed that without an approved change order by the fiscal.
So I'll entertain a motion to accept the proposal as presented, which will authorize the judge executive to sign that, and then also enter into the agreement for professional services as presented.
I'll second it.
I entertain, so are you making the motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Magistrate Fowler and a second by Magistrate Cummings. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. As soon as court's over, we'll get this signed and get you a copy of it.
Scan copies is fine.
Okay.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all.
Yes. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do, the transfers. We have no interfund transfers. Does anybody have any questions about the transfers as presented? This was cleaning up the year end. No. Yes, we do. I'm sorry, sir. We have a motion by Magistrate Cummings to approve the transfers. Do we have a second? Second by Magistrate Fowler. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. You should have a copy of the annual settlement along with the financial cover sheet, the year-end funds and appropriations report, the treasurer's report, the clerk's report, the sheriff's report, and you should have, you do calendar year, not fiscal year, right?
I do both.
On your-
On,
On your activity, you only do
yeah,
calendar.
activities, calendar.
Okay.
That's right, that's right.
And the sheriff's reports. Does anybody have any questions in regards to how we ended the, previous fiscal year? Very, very pleased. One thing you'll notice is we did not get the dead animal grant. Well, that is actually a calendar year, allotment. We usually get that in February. We didn't know to get it or ask for it in February, so we just asked for it. So this fiscal year, July 1 to June 30th of 2026, we'll have gotten it twice because it's it's even though it's once a calendar year, it fell twice in one fiscal year. Alright, you should have a new, this is the new system of the claims and the vendors, for the check register. It's gonna look a little different, but it is still all the same. I know Krista and Abby are really starting to get into this software. The first run of payroll is this week of it. And it will do so much more than what they, did with the old software, and they really like it so far. But does anybody have any issues on the claims?
Blow it up a little bit.
And get bigger
My
glasses.
eyes, I'm gonna have to do something with my glasses.
You're gonna have to get some bigger glasses. Yeah. So. Alright, now the last thing that we have, if nobody has issues with claims, clerk will deem them to be paid. Is the admin code. Alright, so this is the section that we have of the admin code. The last section that we have is holidays, vacation leave, sick leave, etc. So I gave you all a copy of what was proposed. Yep. And then I gave you a copy of what the current admin code says. Yep, he's got the old and
This
the
is,
new.
this is the new.
That's the new, you got the old. Alright, she's not, that's my fault, because it's discussion, so I'll.
Discussion.
Yep. Alright. So currently, some of the things that we were looking at are vacation leave, and sick leave, and how that is accrued, and how that it would be paid out going forward. This does not affect what people have currently. This will only be from the date of adoption and moving forward. So the biggest issue we have is when somebody goes to leave and we pay out, you're paying out a rate that they're currently earning, not what they earned a month. So say they started in 2020 and they leave in 2025, you're paying them at a rate of what they earned in 2025, not what they actually earned those out. So, and some of those payouts are rather large. None of that is budgeted. And so that is an issue, for any judge executive going forward and or fiscal court, because that's not in your budget. And so that also affects the clerk and the sheriff's maximum allowance when those go to be paid out, because that goes against their maximum allowances. And so we need to look at those. We also need to look at what is allowed to be carried over. There's a couple of options, and one is similar to what the city of Eddyville does. So the county participates in the retirement program that allows sick leave to be used towards the retirement. So they can use up to 6 months of sick leave if they have earned it towards their retirement. The county will cut a check, for that amount based on the invoice that retirement sends us, and we send them a check, and that applies to the retirement. And Brent, did that affect what they got, or did that affect just years of service?
You talking about at the end when
At
they
the
applied
end,
sick
we can
time?
do the
It
6
just,
months.
it affected, no, it could have a direct benefit on final compensation if it was used for that, but it was primarily, if you're talking about sick leave being applied to deferred compensation.
That's
did
straight
not
to
have-
retirement.
that did
No.
not have-
Yeah, the 6 months straight to retirement.
So, we did have the ability to carry up to, I think it was 24 months. toward,
Oh, that's state police.
yeah, that was on, okay, that was on state police.
We're only 6 months.
Yeah, I understand, but I just wanted you to know that, just so that, but generally speaking, I think one of the concerns that some of my staff has had is about, could they apply those balance to a deferred compensation plan? Whereas in state government and a lot of local government, you can, so.
That's not in our
It's
current
not in our
admin
current.
code policy to do that. So we do participate in that. I did find the resolution that was signed many years ago to participate for 6 months. If you have approved that, it can be applied towards your retirement when you go to retire. One of the things, and I can only give examples from where I came from, and that was the city. So the city of Eddyville does not participate in that, so you cannot apply anything to retirement, when you go to leave. But the city, to help budget for accrued days, did the following. Once you banked 24 sick days, so you accrued 1 a month, after year 2, you have 24 days. So on year 3, you start accruing again 1 a month. So potentially at the end of year 3, you would have 36 sick days if you did not take them within those 3 years. But on the end of year 3, if you have 24 in the bank, you could cash up to 12 sick days at the end of the year. And the city budgeted for that. On vacation, you could cash up to 10 days of vacation if you had accrued that at the end of each year. So when somebody started, they only got 5 days. At the end of year 2, they got 5 days, and then from years 3 to 10, they got 10 days of vacation every year. So if you didn't use it, you cashed it at the end of the year. If you had 15 days after year 10, so on year 11, you would get 3 weeks of vacation. You had to burn 5, or you would lose them. If you carried anything over, you could still only be cashed up to 10, and you had to either burn them or lose them before you left. So you could potentially get up to 22 days at the end of each year cashed out.
This is on sick days?
Sick and vacation. 12 sick, 10 vacation. That was a little bit more manageable for the city because they could budget for it, and you were paying it out at the rate they were currently making.
So in the past, we have had somebody retire that cost us a large amount.
Yes, so we paid into retirement up to 6 months on an employee, and the current admin code says anything over that 6 months, you're still gonna pay the employee for the rest of it. And so.
We followed KSA's model and, somewhat Cato's model and ours, and we did change ours this past fall, and I got to looking at it. Ours basically is a maximum, this would be a difference. The maximum amount of vacation leave, which may be accumulated from year to year, is 240 hours. So you divide that by 8, that's 30 days.
Yeah.
So that would be a significant difference in what you're proposing. It would be 20, is it right?
Well, no, you would only get paid for up to 10 vacation days. You can carry over,
You can
but
carry over.
the maximum
Right,
that
we're talking
will
about
be
the
paid
payout.
out
I
is
got
10
you.
in
I
a
got you.
given year.
Yeah, and ours does not have a policy about that. It just said,
So you had the same at 240 hours.
well, yeah, I had 240 hours on vacation leave, but like sick leave may be accumulated with no maximum, is what it says in ours. 'Cause that's what the template was on.
Yeah. There's not a maximum of sick leave in our current policy. Another option is, and I'll let Magistrate Sutton explain this, because the school system does a little different. They do a 30% payout when they go to leave, and I'll let you explain how that works.
Yeah, in school systems, all board, well, I work for 3 different school districts, and I think it's uniform, all 173 school districts, board
apply any of that balance of that overtime towards your retirement or toward deferred compensation?
It did not go towards retirement. It did affect retirement because, let's say you got a $20,000 check for your sick leave at the end of retirement, that went towards your last year's salary, which upped your
Deferred
salary
compensation, yeah.
for that year. Because if you either divide it by your 5 high years, if you get 27 years or 55, you divide it by your high 3 years. So that was always one of your high years. So if you just say you made 80,000 that year and you retire with that $20,000 check, 30% of your days, that 80,000 for that last year salary automatically came 100,000. See what I'm saying? So it did help the retirement. It did not increase your years of service. It increased your salary for that last year.
What we used to call credited compensation toward your retirement.
And as far as I know, in every school system it was that way. That makes sense.
I have a question on this, like, you're talking about going to our retirement, I get that, the tier ones is gonna benefit with 6 months, but what about the 3s and the 4s, they don't have a retirement. So what are you putting into theirs, I mean,
that only, and I totally respect that, because that was a tier one, issue. We do have employees that are not tier one, and so the county doesn't put anything towards that retirement, because it's not currently written in the admin code as it's written. But even if we change that to add for tier, cause I don't know that 1A can they do 6 months?
I don't know about A,
But tier 2 and 3, if it's anything, or 3 is the hybrid, then it would have to be, we would have to find out how we do that. Because even if you do the one-time lump sum payment to a 401 or a 457, it's a payroll deduction, so it depends on how much you have in that to be able to do that, and then what the max is based on your age and what the contribution amount is for that year.
my
And I
question
never
is,
thought of the 2 and the 3 on that, Jason, I appreciate that.
and like, another question is, how many tier ones is county employed right now, there's not many left. So therefore, you're only gonna be out 6 months for a few. Right, I mean, it's not, a handful.
I've
So,
got one in
and then you're saving on the tier 2s and 3s and,
yeah.
I mean, just like a few of us are gone, well, then the county is saving a lot of money on 6 months.
I've got one in my office besides myself.
But we would still pay it, that employee as it's currently written. Prime example,
Right.
Mark, you're not a tier 1, are you? Okay, so if Mark were to retire today, and he cannot apply, if he had accrued up to 6 months, okay? You can, I think we had an employee that only had 4 months, up to 6 months towards his retirement. Well, because he's not eligible in the retirement, because he's a tier 2, he's gonna get a check for all of those sick days.
The government's gonna take 38.42%.
You're gonna get their part.
You have, according to this policy, it goes to the individual. And it would only change from, it would be cut off, and what you accrue moving forward can go to the 457 or the 401, not what you've already accrued.
And that's only sick time?
Yes. That is only sick time. That was a good point, Jason, because I had not thought of that.
For an officer holding position, if you're gonna pay out this money anyway, which generally speaking, let's not even talk about what the admin code is being presented as we're right now, but just in regular terms, if we're gonna pay that out with no maximums or whatever, what does it matter to the county? Is there any reason why the county would not want to offer that tax deferment option to the employee? Because the county's gonna pay that total amount out anyway, right? So if they do have the option of that employee deciding they wanted to defer that in a 457 or 401K, what's the penalty to the county? Is there any penalty to the county at all?
The only savings that the county actually earns is when we pay it to retirement because we don't pay the full amount. It's a figure. It's
But
like
deferred compensation is
2.27.
different, right? It's dollar for dollar.
It's dollar for dollar. So when you pay into the retirement,
Yeah, it's
you know,
actually a little less.
it's less.
Yeah.
So like,
That
I think
is
we had
an
one that
incentive.
was like 13,000, but what we actually meant to pay to retirement was none.
Yeah, I mean, that's significant
Yeah.
for government. And I'm just trying to think for the employee to have that option, I think it's good. You know, it's an added benefit for them to be able to tax defer that money. And if we're really thinking about things, it potentially turns it over in our community. It potentially could turn it over in our community more. You know,
School systems had the option to defer now.
That's the full amount.
That's full amount.
At full amount, really. Yeah. That's, I like that option for an employee, I think.
On sick leave.
On sick leave, yeah.
And schools didn't have vacation time, they only had sick leave, okay? You only had 6 days. In most school systems, it was 10 a year.
Right,
Some were 12, but most were 10.
right.
And two, you know, the county not matching your 401K, that was kind of an incentive, you know, 6 months and getting paid for your sick leave and all. It's the way it went, the client is still not hired in, you know, because they didn't match nothing on our.
Now, I will say this, that made me think of something. I got into this once as post commander. I had an employee that wanted to make that deferment to outside of the Kentucky Deferred Compensation Plan, to his own, and I don't think that was allowed.
Yeah.
I
It would
think
have
it
to
had to
Kentucky
be,
deferred
it had to
comp.
be a Kentucky Deferred
Yeah.
Compensation.
School systems.
Right.
Yeah, it'd have to be Kentucky deferred comp.
Then it would not be, it would that be?
And it would only be, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's only if you retire.
That's right. Not when you separate, that's right.
If
That's
it's
right.
12 years and you leave,
It had to be a retirement.
it
Yes.
had to be a retirement.
That's right. That's exactly correct, yeah.
I had that argument with the board.
Yes.
But they didn't like it, that's what the policy, I mean, it was policy.
Yeah.
So, okay, if it, and I'm just taking notes from, so that I can go back and kind of change this. So the sick leave would be a potential for a deferred comp option only if they retire.
Person's position now has changed.
Then they would be cashed out before they become next. They would have to be.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's still concerns, nobody can answer if it's legal or on your spot.
Not legal.
But that person would be cashed out before they potentially became.
From when they came office.
Yeah.
It could be deferred. There may not be a lot of it there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It is,
And it could be a one-time deferred prior to taking.
just what it is.
Yes. And it has to be retirement. But there's no limit. Are we saying no limit on sick leave then? Because the biggest concern is you have some that may be over even what's allowed as a 6-month payment to retirement. So they've accrued more than the 6 months. According to this admin code, they get paid out the rest.
Yeah, so in the state police world, when I was in state government, we could only get a payout on C and B, so we had pension, retirement, vacation time. We could not get a payout on sick leave. We could only defer that sick leave toward our credible compensation and or to the deferred compensation plan. We couldn't get a payout on sick leave.
So do we do the max at 6 months then? Is that what you're saying?
That's just what
Yeah,
that.
but I just wanna make sure that that's what
Yeah,
you're saying.
so I'm not trying to tell you a suggestion on that, I'm just saying that in state government, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think on a C and B, I think we only had a C and B payout. Sick had to be applied, one of those optional ways, but you could not get a check for sick time. You could not get a check, but you could get a check for compensatory time and vacation time.
My wife's getting ready to retire, and she couldn't cash out her
Or
sick.
said, yeah, that's what I think, I think
They
you
put it toward her.
could retirement or credible compensation or through a
They are cashing
compensation.
her out on her vacation,
Yeah,
up to 450 hours.
I got you. See, and on the C and B payout, we had a max of $240 payout, see.
It's about 50.
56. Depending on if she's a 37 and a half or a 40 hour.
37.
Transportation is something like that.
So, do we cap the sick leave at 6 months? Because that's what we would pay in retirement if they were at 0 1. Which would be, it's 120 days.
Do we have before we get
See you. Jason. She's not counting.
We have, is Shannon Auburn tier one?
Shannon Oliver's
Yeah.
everyone.
And I,
But
maybe
he's
Josh
not
Travis.
gonna, there's no way he can make that much.
Did
No.
he move?
And neither could Josh Travis.
Since they moved from a different agency?
Yes. They haven't been here. If they stayed, there's no way they can.
I don't think so.
So like on Jason's case, he worked for the state.
His sick time probably came over.
No.
It was retirement.
It went to retirement, same as that.
Same as that, yeah,
Retirement.
same way, yeah. What we were just, that's right, we were just talking about that.
So if we keep it similar to the same, but cap the sick at the 6 months.
I don't want to confuse you, but I think there was a cutoff in 2003 that changed the way sick time was carried if you stayed, if you went back to another participating member in the Kentucky retirement system. I think you got to carry it. I don't think it was necessarily automatically, but I think there was some cutoff somewhere around, it was after 98, sometime around 2003, I think, not to confuse you on that, but I don't think it's always been done that way, is what I'm getting at.
I know that, I mean, I don't think any of your employees would have brought anything from anywhere else. Shouldn't have, because they would either
I don't
have
think
paid
so.
out or lost it if they was respective agencies.
Look,
Mark, yours went to the state when you left,
hey, I tell you,
after retirement.
I tell you one, you can check Jeff Knight, he didn't retire, did he?
No, he rolled just the same as Mark.
You said, so,
It just rolls to retirement.
okay,
And
so
then
it
comes
rolled
to-
straight to retirement?
Yeah,
See, I think it did after 2003, I think it's before, when did you come from the state, Jesse?
I was here in 06,
Okay, so.
and I started with the state in 02.
Yeah, okay, all right.
it all rolled to the state. So do we look at doing on the sick leave then, a 6 month cap? Or if they accrue more than that, they can only do 6 months and they lose the rest? At retirement. At retirement.
That would be going to retirement or after sick.
So,
She said 6 months.
If we
after 6
cap
months.
the sick leave at 6 months, we wanna pass the admin code, there's a potential.
This is the second week we're talking about.
Sick and vacation, it's that section that I gave you, because there is a potential to have a special call meeting, but I know, when are you gonna be going?
I believe the 26th, probably gone through about 2 weeks here.
Okay. So our next meeting is actually not till August the 12th. We were hoping to have a special call meeting to have the first reading of just the admin code and potentially the tax rate, the first reading of the tax rate. Because we would like to have a county employee training on just the admin code on Wednesday, August the 6th, from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Did I do that wrong?
No, not necessarily just admin though.
Well,
Yeah, well, I've encouraged the judge, I think it would be a good idea if we have a training day, and that's a day that we have discussed, that there's a lot of forms that we fill out, there are a lot of processes that employees need to be refreshed on every year, there are a lot of policies that need to be highlighted every year. I think we need to have an annual training day, I think it's a fantastic idea, but I think that we need to have the admin code in a solid form before we do that.
so we may still have the one next Tuesday, just on the drug-free workplace policy. It's been, she said it looked great, she needed our employee assistance program, I sent that to her, but she has not sent it back to me to say that we're good to go.
I mean, if you wanna continue to talk to six, I'm fine with that too. If you wanna do- For that part, for the drug part, it doesn't matter.
Sometime between now and before the 26th, before he leaves, but I was really hoping to have the tax rates, I haven't gotten it, because
Certification had been.
sir, it hasn't come out yet.
We just had the board of bids yesterday.
Are we having a special meeting this month?
If we do any kind of discussion, it would have to be a special call meeting this month to discuss the admin code, or we can keep talking, it's totally up to you all.
I just didn't have it in my phone.
No, that was my suggestion, we can keep talking, or we can do the discussion, if you all wanna keep reading, I'm game for either one.
So I'm still kind of unclear on how it affects all these retirement systems. I'm used to teacher retirement, that's where my brain goes. I can't comprehend all these.
Tier 1, 2s, and
Yeah.
3s.
I had to get a flow chart out to look at it.
I'm
I can tell you tier one, but beyond that, I have to get a flow chart.
I
out.
have to get the chart out too, I couldn't tell you,
Well, what do we gotta do that's best for our employees?
I think we gotta look what's best for employees and what financially is stable for the county as well.
Yeah.
There's gonna be two
I mean,
things.
that's my view of it. We don't wanna mess up our good health.
One of my concerns was, if you have an employee that hire on one admin code, and then we change it before they retire, and we've taken a benefit away from them that is part of the involved contract, if it's tied to retirement, like if it's tied to appropriate compensation, so that was my only concern, for the employee's benefit, but the involved contract is technically with the state, it's with the Kentucky Public Pension Authority, but when you're talking about things that go toward the credible compensation of that, or could go to the credible compensation of that, if you're not, I think that's a different animal. But I think if it is, I think we gotta really be careful with, looking at that.
So we participate in the standard sick leave program, which in this program, unused sick leave can be converted into service credit at retirement, but only up to a certain limit, 6 months. Alright, tier 2 and 3 employees, these employees can use sick leave when they're ill or injured or attend medical appointments similar to other employees. But it's handled for retirement benefits differs. So, let's see. For tier 3 members, sick leave is not used in the benefit calculation itself, but it can affect retirement eligibility.
So they can use it toward credible compensation to get them to the year mark, but it can't be used to just pad it. so to speak.
Let's see, here's tier 2.
So you probably got one in your office, right?
Tier 2 members may receive service
Same.
credit for 6 retirement if their employee has adopted a sick leave program with the KPPA. So yes, you can still receive service credit for sick leave under a tier 2 or a tier 3.
The only caution I have as an appointing authority under the county umbrella is that I think we just have to be careful when it does potentially tie itself to anything to do with retirement. I just think we have to tread very carefully on that to make sure it's not a violation, of any kind of contractual matter with a particular employee. But I agree with everything else that's been said. I agree that you don't pay out sick. I agree that you don't, you only do those things that you're talking about at the point of retirement and not separation only. I mean, all of that is consistent with what other governmental entities do. I think that's fine.
So let's just take what he said, similar, don't pay out sick unless it's a retirement.
And that's what my wife she did.
Yes. But that would be a change in the admin code moving forward. So what any county employee has accrued to this, I'm just gonna say we passed it today, to this date, they could be paid out for that amount.
They can be paid out for sick.
Yes, because it's under the old admin code. You're not taking it away from them.
Right.
I think that's important to say.
Yes. I mean, so if Jason is the employee and he's got 20 sick days accumulated to date and he leaves in December and this admin code has been passed, as effective today, he can be paid for those 20 days that he earned. The days from the day it's passed going forward would have to go to retirement and or he would lose them if he didn't retire. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Did I say that right? Bobby's looking at me going, I don't know.
So I personally, I just like to have a workshop where everybody knows those.
I didn't know you were.
So I've never experienced that, I've never had a job messing with vacation, sick days or anything, so that's where we're at.
I mean, I understand a lot of these guys that, that's a lot of money for them. I mean, these guys have worked just for that sick leave and not using it for this purpose.
We don't have that in there, that high.
I understand both sides, from the employee side, and I also understand the employer side. If I had an employee separate today, one particular one, I don't mean to call that person out, but it would have a devastating effect on it's not budgeted per se, but it would have a devastating effect on my maximum allowance, for sure. And then I might not be able to hire somebody to replace that employee for a whole year.
That's why it's gotta be changed. I mean, just for
I mean,
that.
that's why I said I see both sides, and I really do.
But we're not taking a benefit away that any employees already earn. I think that's important to
That's
say.
correct.
So, what they've earned at this point, they continue to have until they retire. It would just be this point
Moving
forward, they're limited, could be limited on however this court passes.
Right.
So they still hold on to those days.
If,
Anything previous to the date of retirement.
if they've got, like I said, if Jason's got 30 days right now, and the court passed this, if Jason left 6 months from now,
What's that, 5 years?
or 5 years from now, those 30 days, he can be cashed out at or applied to retirement. But anything moving forward,
This day
from
on.
this day forward, would follow the new code, and that would either be go to retirement, or he would lose it if he didn't retire.
I think that's more fair than just,
Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
taking anything away, nothing is being taken away. It's just
the
how we've got to kind of control it a little bit and budget for it going forward. Cause it will break a court or a sheriff's budget or a clerk's maximum allowance.
Well,
If you
there's no
have a
doubt.
court that chooses not to raise it
Yeah.
because of that, so,
Well, and realistically, you're paying it out at the highest that employee's probably ever paid.
yes.
And that's why it can be so devastating to a budget. You're not going back and saying, okay, Mark, back in 1995,
You only
this
make
sick
$10
leave
an
was-
hour.
this was $10 an hour, so that's what you're earning. And you're paying it all out at the highest amount.
So I think that's been some of the confusion in this discussion is, whatever you earn at this point,
You get to keep.
You get to keep
at the old administration, old admin code.
at the old, whatever is listed in this admin code. So if somebody says, well, I want a deferred comp, you can't, what you've already earned is not in this admin code, you can't defer comp, it's not in here. It says in here that sick leave shall go to retirement. Now, not to call that one out, can't participate in retirement.
Yeah.
Already retired.
Right.
I think that the court could potentially allow up to the 6 month, as it says, to be to the deferred comp, because I would consider that a retirement.
Yeah, I think that's something y'all will have to make a decision on situations like that. And we have a few of those employees.
Anything before, say today, if we pass, anything before, they can cash out. And so-
Based on this code.
So, you know, Judge, I've got 4 of those employees right now.
And starting today.
That could potentially be affected by that.
Everything goes to retirement.
Well, it automatically, according to this, it automatically goes to retirement if you participate in retirement. So you can do up to 6 months, which is 120 days, to retirement. If you have over 120 days in sick leave, the remainder is paid out to the employee, per this admin code. So, just an example, the sheriff has one employee that has about that much time, if not more. So that one employee is already retired, cannot participate in the Kentucky retirement system. So when he goes, that employee goes to leave,
You cash it out.
well, you could take 120 days and apply that to a 401 or 457 if the court chooses, because I would ask the court, because that person can't participate in retirement. It can't go anywhere.
I think that's a good benefit. You're gonna have to pay it out regardless.
You're gonna have to pay it out
So-
regardless.
So why not allow that employee to tax defer it, is
Yes.
what I agree.
Anything over that 120 days, they are gonna get a check for per the current admin code.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and going forward, I'm like Jeff, I don't, and Quinn too, I don't know anybody else
That pays out
sick time like that. It's C or D they pay out,
Yeah.
but not sick.
So, if this was passed, that employee would be able to take the days they have on the date that this was passed, and that is the max that they could, one, apply to the 6 months, and if anything over, it would be paid out. And then going forward, you could also do up to the 6 months, and it would have to go to retirement and or add the 457 in there, but then they would lose it. They're not gonna get a check for it. Does that make sense?
I was thinking something that maybe is worth exploring, bus drives that. Their sick days, some of them they lost, they only paid so much.
They're on the same, they're in the same system, okay, because there's a teacher retiring, and then the classified staff are in KVPA, just like we're talking about here. There's 2 different retirements for school
So
systems.
school don't pay you all of your sick time. I thought the way.
30%, 30%.
That's that 30% cap comes in there.
But they lost some of their sick time.
30%, that's what they pay. Which are more than.
Now vacation, I think either we leave it at their maximum amounts that is already set in the current admin code, or you change it. But vacation, they're gonna get a check for it.
I think I read in there too, where they, if they do take vacation, they can only take 2 weeks at a time, most. Right?
Unless it's approved by their supervisor.
But
So,
just like the road department, they can't have 2 or 3 people out there take this vacation at the same time.
No, that would be the road foreman's responsibility to say, no, I've already got 2 on vacation, you cannot go at the same time. Hence why, as Lee mentioned, there's a lot of forms and a lot of things that are not being filled out, that should be filled out when people are asking for vacation, et cetera. And we need to have that yearly training to get all of that out and say, hey, you gotta remember you gotta do this, hey, you gotta remember to do that. Because we're finding a lot of things when people come in and ask a question and we go look it up, we're like, oh, wait a minute, this was in there too. Well, I haven't seen that in 5 years because I haven't had that issue. It's a refresher of constantly finding things.
So the way we do it at the plant, and it's totally different from everybody else, is like on your vacation, the first 3 months goes by the senior person. Then after that, it's fair game.
Yeah.
You got, you know, in the first 3 months when you're gonna take off. Say you're going July the 1st through the 20th.
Yeah.
If you got more seniority than the next 2 or 3 that's on that same job, that's how they, that's, the first 3 months is by senior.
It's just to keep everybody from going on vacation and we have a snow event.
Yeah, most of the time they're all there for that, which in admin too, it was, I think we can be, half of us can be off at one time, which would be 3 now, so.
We're scheduling surgery in the summertime when you finally met your deductible.
I know that.
That one from tomorrow.
So I'll go back and add some of the changes that we discussed, hopefully make it a little bit clearer. Try to pull every employee's file to show what they currently earned to date. And, cause I know Abby has updated that, but we're double checking all of that, because you all technically kept up with it, now Abby's keeping up with it, I think you still kinda keep up with it. You don't keep
I
up
don't
with it.
anymore, yeah.
So,
When Kathy became the HR person before Abby, that's when I stopped.
we're double checking all of that. I would, prefer to add some of this, rewrite, rechange some of this, send this to you all, allow you to look it over, and then potentially just ask for a special call meeting, potentially before the 26th, so that we can have a first reading of the admin code, so that we can do the training on August the 6th. Potentially have the second reading August the 12th, and
That'd be August 16th. Right.
I don't think that we all can, or would that qualify as county employees?
If y'all would come, we'll call a special meeting.
Well, I kind of want to.
Didn't know you did.
It's more,
You won't be.
it's more processes for employees.
Yes, absolutely.
So we won't have a special call before August 16th,
Potentially, yes, sir.
like next week.
You all tell me what your availability is. And it's, okay, we'll just do it by text, he can text. Either next week or the week of the 21st. I would almost say the 21st, I'd really like to see if we get that certification back. All we gotta have is just somebody, if we're talking pledge, invocation pledge. I was just thinking, just to give us time for that certification, if the tax rate came in where I could give you all that information. I don't know when we're gonna get that certification. You don't think we'll get it towards, till the end of the month?
We never did this school.
If our BDA is out, for injury, I don't know.
It's done, yeah,
Okay,
it's all, I mean, everything is, we got our work assessment appeals yesterday,
so that's done.
so that's done, we didn't have any appeals.
Okay.
That's true. I think, I don't know, I'm assuming she's sending it today, but it's usually
What's, Thursday the 31st?
He's gone.
Oh, he's got.
He leaves the 26th.
About the 23rd.
You got court on that? Rick?
It's a Wednesday. You watch the Grand Prix, don't you?
It was surely.
What time do they want to go?
24, we'll start 24.
Okay, so what time?
22nd.
What time on, hold on, what time on the 23rd?
I'm off.
I'm open. I'll just need to- I'm open.
I think we'll be all right.
No, I just said.
One
open.
PM on the
1 p.m.
23rd? 1 PM good with you on
You
the
said you
23rd?
I was in this meeting or something.
You text me and let me know. Yeah.
The special, segregated special purpose vehicles on the.
Oh, can we? I didn't know if there was a time frame.
There it is, 24 hours.
Oh, okay, yes. At 1 o'clock on the 23rd? Yes,
They give you plenty of time.
yes.
Give me plenty of time to get insurance.
The only other thing I have is I asked y'all for your road list. I did get Magistrate Sutton's, Magistrate Fowler told me mistletoe, is that correct?
Yes.
I never heard anything from you either, Magistrate Cummings.
I didn't hear it right, I was about to,
I know Commerce is one that you're looking.
Jason probably knows more about Dr. Rose than I do.
And so I will have, Jim Smith go out and give us estimates on those roads so that we can present that at our August 12th meeting for paving for this year.
Mistletoe, so we need a,
Culvert,
you know, insurance just rusted out, and it's a gas line right under.
that's right, that road's an issue, yeah.
Well, I guess some of these days,
That's the problem with gas lines.
did you go look at Governor's Knob? I know there's.
I have not gone to look at Governor's
There's
Knob
some
yet.
rock on it, just, but I know garbage truck's a problem.
Gotcha.
Does anybody have anything else from the magistrates?
Nope, I appreciate the road department and our sheriff. Our jail department. I appreciate everybody.
We do have.
Andy,
thank
how
you
did I
all
tell you?
too.
I got you on the prayer list at church.
You know, where's that?
I appreciate it.
Not like I don't mention you about every Sunday.
He doesn't have anything but the prosecutor.
Maybe. Anything else?
Good thing my hair is going.
Bobby, go ahead and say it.
I make a motion to adjourn. Y'all haven't heard that for 3 weeks, have you?
And you're gonna text me and let me know before we get on Monday.
Contract time.
Yeah.
As long as you're.
Mr. Perry.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
I'll just stop you
So,
and then pick it
I
up.
used to
And
do
then I need
good.
to sign.
I
got a blue pen.
Why
do you have
actually,
you don't have
I
to
got a
choose
super
stronger
They laid
reasons.
off all the people.
You gotta have someone.
Yeah, he's right here local, I just said, both of them, I signed a contract with the government. And I said, "That was, keep this moving."
There you go. I appreciate
Last contract, they like extended the design, I was in the office, and I told them, we just need 1-year contracts.
Oh,
See what I'm saying? We overlapped time. And that was on me.
And I will bring you copies of everything for your file.
You may enter into a contract that exceeds your terminology. I'm not encouraging.
No,
Yeah,
no,
both
I'm telling you,
places,
if you've done
sorry.
anything
Okay.
like I'm doing that, there were some 5-year agreements that came out one time for county attorneys, and we were like,
Yeah.
we can't bind our successor, and we gotta do.
Okay.
I'm not saying do it. I'm
Yeah,
saying-
no, I wouldn't, well, I told him, asked him if we could do 1 year, I met with him actually today, and he said, yeah, 1 year's fine with us. He said a lot of times they do a contract before every sale, and he said, that'll just save us time. He said, we don't like to do real long contracts anyway, I said, so, yeah, so I think that's good.
Yours, did I miss something?
Oh, no, I was just gonna,
Sure.